Hola, ¿cómo están? Saludos, aquí estamos en la cocina, pero no vamos a compartir una receta. No.
Hola, mi amor.
¿Cómo estás, mi amor?
Gracias por invitarme a tu Instagram Live.
Bueno, es que tenemos, pues yo diría una intervención live muy especial que va a, creo que cambiar pues la perspectiva de muchas familias de cómo ven esto que vamos a plantear en el día de hoy. Y creo que es sumamente importante en mi vida porque tú sabes que por la pandemia muchas familias se han visto afectadas.
Mucho, claro.
Y
sobre todo los hispanos en los Estados Unidos.
Efectivamente. Y como tú has hablado muchísimas veces en televisión nacional, en la radio, sobre estos programas que pues ayudan a las familias de los Estados Unidos, creo que es importante pues alzar la voz y seguir transmitiendo este mensaje para que entiendan los beneficios que tienen y cómo puede impactar positivamente. Para
nosotros un honor en esta mañana y gracias por invitarme a tu Instagram. Mi amor, vamos a tener el privilegio de compartir con la Casa Blanca. Desde Washington va a estar con nosotros la directora de comunicaciones en español de la Casa Blanca, Audrey López.
Así es.
Porque el crédito fiscal por los niños, para todos aquellos que son padres de familia, por favor, conéctense ahora mismo, díganle a sus amigos por un texto que se conecten, porque las extraordinarias noticias y Audrey López nos va a estar aclarando todas las dudas, sobre todo para muchos padres de familia hispanos. Ya está con nosotros Audrey.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
Bien, muchísimas gracias.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Felicidades, una dominicana representándonos en la Casa Blanca, abuela dominicana. Nosotros amamos la República Dominicana, tú lo sabes, Audrey.
Y yo antes de comenzar estaba diciendo que crecí viéndote en la televisión. Para mí es un privilegio estar aquí.
Bueno, gracias, yo te felicito y felicito a tu familia y cómo tu abuelita en República Dominicana los llevó a ustedes a otro nivel y debe estar muy, muy feliz y orgullosa de ver a su nieta en tan importante rol en la Casa Blanca, sobre todo pues representando a los latinos. Audrey.
Gracias, sí. Mi abuelita, para que sepas, falleció en la pandemia, entonces para mí este es como que el logro más grande del mundo.
Por supuesto,
wow. Por supuesto. Lo sentimos mucho.
Por supuesto, Audrey. Queremos agradecerte inmensamente y sobre todo la gentileza a la Casa Blanca por tenernos en cuenta para hacerlo en español, para poder hablarle a nuestra gente en español y decirle cómo pueden hacer uso de las herramientas que hay durante toda esta pandemia que ya casi estamos derrotando. Audrey, queremos estos minutos que nos ha regalado enfocarnos en el crédito fiscal. Sí. El crédito fiscal se ha diseñado para familias que tienen niños dependientes, menores de edad, que los ponen en su planilla de impuestos. Pero fíjate tú, existen aún muchas dudas. Nuestra comunidad, te lo digo porque diariamente en radio y en televisión nacional y Barbie en sus redes sociales, la gente sigue teniendo dudas. ¿Cómo aplico para el crédito fiscal? ¿Cuántos niños puedo reclamar? ¿Las edades? ¿Cuánto tengo que ganar el año? Queremos en estos minutos poder despejar todas esas dudas, Audrey.
Claro, para aquí estamos, para eso mismo, ¿verdad? Para educar el público sobre esas dudas que quizás tengan.
Perfecto. Empecemos entonces. Las dudas que tienen las personas. ¿Cuándo empieza esto? ¿Cómo es el crédito fiscal? ¿Y cuánto van a recibir las familias hispanas por cada niño que tenga menor de edad?
Sí, bueno, el crédito es un crédito o un pago, como digo yo, que le da el gobierno a ustedes por tener hijos. Es un pago que ahora, este año se va a hacer mensual. El 15 de julio van a recibir su primer pago. Si ya hizo su declaración de impuestos para el año 2019 o para el año 2020 y recibe sus impuestos por depósito directo, así mismo van a recibir estos pagos por depósito directo. Si eres de las personas que los recibe por correo postal, así te va a llegar por correo postal. Entonces ya el 15 de julio, todos los meses, el día 15, te va a llegar ese pago a tu cuenta bancaria.
15 de julio.
Sí, el 15 de julio, ya casi, un par de semanas.
Perfecto.
Ahora, una pregunta, Audrey, porque como decía Mario al comienzo, amor, y es que sí existen dudas. A veces no es que no nos documentamos, pero hay falta de información o no la buscamos correctamente. Entonces, ahí es donde viene la duda de aplicar. Entonces, bien importante, porque a mí me han hecho esta pregunta en varias ocasiones, Mario Andrés, que toca este tema diariamente en la televisión y en la radio, se da cuenta de que hay muchas familias que no saben cómo acceder a esta ayuda. Entonces, ¿quiénes califican? ¿Quiénes no califican para este crédito? Y las edades de los hijos, Audrey, que es muy importante porque obviamente hay unos parámetros, ¿no?
Claro.
En cuanto a las edades.
Ok, ahora te voy a decir todo lo que tienen que saber para saber si califican.
Okay.
Primero es tener un hijo, obvio, de 17 años para abajo. Anteriormente era de 16 años para abajo, pero gracias al plan de rescate económico del presidente Biden, esa edad ha cambiado. Ahora es de 17 años. El segundo es el ingreso. Si es una pareja, tienen que ganar menos de $150,000.
Okay.
Si es un padre soltero o lo que le dicen jefe de familia, tiene que ganar menos de $112,500. Si ya han hecho su declaración de impuestos para el año 2019 o 2020, ya está automáticamente registrado. No tiene que hacer absolutamente nada.
Excelente.
Pero sí hay casos que se ven de personas que no han hecho su declaración de impuestos, ¿verdad? Si cae dentro de esa categoría, tenemos una herramienta súper fácil. Lo único que tienen que ir a childtaxcredit.gov y ahí se puede registrar y buscar toda la información que necesita.
Lo que acaba de decir Audrey, y considero lo más importante y es donde está la mayor cantidad de dudas de las personas, Audrey. ¿Qué tengo que hacer? ¿Llenar una aplicación? No es un préstamo de PPP, no es un préstamo por desastre, no es otro tipo de ayuda federal, es directamente relacionado con la planilla de impuestos y los dependientes. Entonces, aquí viene la siguiente pregunta, Audrey. ¿Qué pasa en el caso de familias donde tenemos varios hijos? ¿Hay un límite de cantidad de niños menores de edad?
No hay un límite. Si tiene 3 hijos, de 17 para abajo, si tiene 5, no importa, no hay un límite. Por cada hijo le toca su monto.
Aquí hay 7 en la casa.
Bueno, no, pero los otros no califican porque ya son muy grandes.
Las familias latinas son un poco grandes.
Siempre. Aportamos muchísimo al desarrollo de la familia de los Estados Unidos. Ahora, otra de las dudas comunes sobre este crédito, repetimos, esto va a empezar el 15 de julio, amigos. ¿Esto va a ser mensual o puede ser que reclamen el crédito completo el próximo año en los taxes del 2021 para 2022?
Sí, es mensual, pero sí tiene la opción de cambiarlo para que le llegue el total en una cantidad el año que viene. Pero para mí eso no lo beneficia tanto, ¿verdad? Porque el propósito de esto es mensualmente poder ayudarlos a ustedes, pagar sus cuentas o pagar la renta o hacer lo que tenga que hacer. Y si le llega mensual, así se le hace la vida un poquito más fácil, ¿verdad? Especialmente la comunidad latina que ha sufrido tanto por causa de la pandemia. Eso está algo del gobierno del presidente Biden, decirle a ustedes, mire, un poquito de ayuda para hacerle sus vidas un poquito más fácil. Entonces para mí tiene sentido que lo hagan mensual, pero sí tienen la opción de hacerlo para que le llegue total el año que viene.
¿Qué pasa con los niños que son menores de 6 años, Audrey?
Sí, si son menores de 6 años, lo que pasa es que la cantidad cambia. Si tienen entre 6 y 17, es $3,000 que le toca. Si tienen menos de 6 años, por ejemplo, yo tengo una niña de 1 añito, tocaría $3,600, o sea, $600 más. Entre 6 y 17 son $3,000 y de 6 para abajo son $3,600.
Fantástico.
Las personas que aún no se han inscrito.
No se tienen que inscribir, recuerda.
O sea, claro, pero hay personas que todavía no han entrado en el proceso. O sea, ¿cuál es el próximo paso? ¿Qué tienen que hacer?
Sí, como te dije, si ya has declarado tus impuestos, no tienes que hacer nada. Si eres de
automáticamente.
Sí, si eres de lo que no has declarado tus impuestos, vas a registrarte en childtaxcredit.gov.
Bueno, mucha gente está escribiendo muchas cosas, por supuesto. Deseamos que la mayor cantidad de personas tenga oportunidad de tomar crédito. Dice... el crédito completo por niños, sí. Para Shirley, que nos está escribiendo que si no van a dar la Casa Blanca o el gobierno federal, quiero decir, el crédito completo por niños, sí, ¿verdad?
Claro. Sí, desde ahora, desde el 15 de julio hasta finales de año, hasta final del año, hasta diciembre, todos los meses, el 15 del mes, le va a llegar su pago.
Fíjate, Audrey, y esto es bien importante decirlo, no estamos hablando de política, no estamos hablando de partidos políticos, ni de un lado ni del otro, pero es muy claro que la gente siempre dice, oh my God, nos van a dar ese dinero y después nos van a cobrar más impuestos. Esto va a afectar los impuestos del próximo año de los millones. Esto es para blancos, para negros, para afrodescendientes, para latinos, para asiáticos, para todo el mundo.
Esto es para todos, no tienen que preocuparse por lo que pase el año que viene. Esto es este año, tiene que ver con este año. Lo que sí queremos es extenderlo, porque por ahora solo va a pasar por el año 2021. Queremos extenderlo para que todos los años, ya mensual, el 15 del mes, ya usted sabe que le va a llegar su pago. Pero para hacer eso tenemos que pasar el plan de familias estadounidenses, que le estamos pidiendo al Congreso que por favor que pase esa legislación, porque eso es lo que va a extender estos pagos para que ya el año que viene sigan recibiendo sus pagos.
Otra vez, dicen qué año te sirve. Los impuestos que hayas hecho del 19-20, o si ya hiciste, como la mayoría lo hemos hecho, 20-21, ¿right?
Exacto.
Nos dicen que hablemos en inglés, Audrey, pero gracias por hablar con nosotros en español.
¿Cuántas familias, Audrey, tú crees que se van a beneficiar? Sabemos que se le mandó pues la notificación a aproximadamente 36 millones de hogares. ¿Cuántas familias tú crees que se pudieran beneficiar de este crédito fiscal? Para que la gente entienda lo importante que es.
Claro, sabemos que este año le va a tocar a más familias que nunca, ¿verdad? Por dos razones. Aumentamos la edad a 17 años y aumentamos el ingreso. Y se dice que si todas las familias que califican reciben este beneficio, podemos cortar la pobreza infantil en los Estados Unidos un 50%. O sea que ya con eso te lo digo todo, y a cuántas personas, millones de personas vamos a afectar de forma positiva, que podemos cortar la pobreza infantil un 50% con este beneficio.
Y dicen que aproximadamente a 39 millones de hogares va a entrar esta ayuda, que se traduce a 65 millones de niños que van a ser impactados positivamente. También hablando, personas me están preguntando Puerto Rico. ¿Cómo es el caso de Puerto Rico en este crédito tributario?
Le completo la pregunta en dos. Los que tienen ITIN, los mexicanos que tienen el famoso ITIN o que ya recibieron el estímulo anteriormente, los cheques de $1,200.
Sí, con la pregunta tuya, si ya recibieron el cheque de estímulo, ya está automáticamente registrado. Lo que importa es la ciudadanía del hijo, o ¿verdad? Porque le importa es el hijo, si tiene seguro social o ITIN, califican.
Y Puerto Rico también.
Y ya Puerto Rico, te voy a decir que lo de Puerto Rico es un poquito diferente, es un poco técnico diferente, entonces para esa información te pido que por favor vaya a childtaxcredit.gov, ahí te lo explica mejor.
Sí.
Chantal, esta pregunta seguro se acaba de conectar ahí. Muchas personas le agradecen.
Para que ella vuelva a repetir.
Claro, no tiene límite de cantidad de niños, porque ella dice, si 2 o 3 niños por cada niño, $300, sí.
Perdona, Audrey, no queremos, porque mucha gente se está conectando ahora y están preguntando, si pudieras otra vez desglosarnos un poquito lo que van a recibir mensualmente las familias. Perdona, no queremos que sea repetitivo, pero muchas personas están entrando y nos están preguntando o sea, cómo va a ser el desglose durante esto que va a ser mensualmente.
Sí, bueno, si tienen hijos entre 6 y 17 años, mensual es $250. Si tienen niños menores de 6 años, es mensual $300, lo que equivale a $3,000 anual o $3,600 anual, dependiendo de la edad de sus niños.
Ok, perfecto. Mensaje que tú le darías, Audrey, a todas esas mamás, esas personas que van a compartir este mensaje, porque este mensaje ahora lo estamos haciendo live, pero lo vamos a tener fijo en nuestras redes sociales, va a ser compartido. Creo que es muy importante. ¿Qué mensaje tú le darías a todas esas personas que nos están viendo en estos momentos, que hasta cierto punto, como dijo Mario al comienzo, hay muchas dudas, tienen miedo o no saben cómo hacerlo? Claro, ya tú dijiste que en childtaxcredit.gov nosotros lo vamos a escribir también en nuestro copy, que es donde tienen que ir para ver si son elegibles y para que tengan más información, porque la gente tiene que documentarse y sentirse cómoda, ¿no? Pero ¿qué mensaje tú le tienes a esas personas que nos están viendo en estos momentos?
Primero que nada, que yo también soy mamá. Tengo una bebé de 1 año que nació en medio de la pandemia. Y que este beneficio es un beneficio que le está dando el gobierno del presidente Biden a ustedes para ayudarlos. ya que hemos sufrido tanto con esta pandemia, ya que todavía estamos sufriendo por esta pandemia, es un beneficio para ustedes que no tienen que devolverle al gobierno, que es un pago mensual que se le da a ustedes directos para comprar comida, para pagar su renta o para comprarle ropa a sus hijos, lo que tengan que hacer con
los útiles escolares para regresar al colegio, que ya eso viene, ¿no? Audrey, sí. Interesante que muchas personas decían, porque supimos, ¿no? Y nosotros en los noticieros y en todos los programas de radio también, a la gente le empezaron a llegar millones de cartas, o sea, cada familia una carta. Hubo personas que no recibieron esta carta y de todas maneras califican, ¿right?
Claro, sí, porque las cartas llegan lentas. Como saben, el correo también está un poco lento, pero no tiene que preocuparse por si le llegó la carta o no. Si ya... si tienen un hijo menos de 17 años, si tienen los ingresos que le dije y si ha declarado sus impuestos o ha recibido su cheque de estímulo, automáticamente le llega todo.
Muy bien. Hay claro, son $300 y perdona que insistamos sobre esto, son preguntas de nuestra gente. Irma dice, va a ser solo hasta diciembre, los reembolsos son $300 mensuales, si son 3,000 son 10 meses. ¿Cambia algo a partir de enero?
No, no cambia nada a partir de enero, pero como te dije, sí queremos extenderlo, ¿verdad? Para que ya esto sea lo normal, que todos los meses de aquí hasta 10, 20 años te llegue un cheque mensual con tu crédito tributario, pero para poder extenderlo, sí tenemos que pasar el plan de familias estadounidenses. Entonces, por ahora solo le va a llegar esta vez así.
Perfecto. Vamos a resumir, Audrey. El crédito se amplía a 3,000 por niños de 6 a 17.
Exacto, 3,600 menores de 6 años.
Perfecto. Y es a partir del 15 de julio. Hay mucha información, como nos compartió Audrey, en taxcredit.gov. Ahí va a haber toda la información en español también, ¿verdad, Audrey?
Sí. Todo en español, absolutamente todo está en español, sí.
Y es, o sea, estamos viviendo tiempos muy complicados. La gente está tratando de sobrevivir en todos los aspectos, Audrey, y yo creo que eso aplica a toda la familia. De una u otra manera, la pandemia nos ha afectado. Nosotros también vivimos momentos muy difíciles a través por medio de la pandemia, y yo creo que es un buen momento para correr la voz y que la gente entienda que esto es un beneficio que a lo mejor no va a durar toda la vida, pero sí en este momento lo están ofreciendo, y es importante que la gente entienda cómo esto va a impactar positivamente la vida, porque hay muchos padres de familia, padres solteros, por ejemplo, madres solteras que lamentablemente han perdido su empleo o no han podido regresar a su trabajo.
Tremendo. Audrey, te queremos agradecer. Me están diciendo directamente de la Casa Blanca que se nos acabó el tiempo. Perdona, somos preguntones. No. Esperemos que hayan tenido todas las respuestas. Si se nos quedó algo, vamos a subir el contenido de este video. Queremos agradecer inmensamente la gentileza a la Casa Blanca por tenernos en la cuenta para hablar en español sobre este tema tan importante. Y gracias, Audrey, por estos minutos que nos has regalado. Gracias a nuestra gente de Social Rooster que hizo posible esta conexión con la Casa Blanca. Audrey,
gracias.
Orgullosos como hispanos. Felicidades, ¿eh?
Gracias, se lo agradezco. Como dije, crecí viéndolos en la televisión, entonces para mí es un momento...
Me hace sentir un poco vieja, pero no importa.
Ay, perdón.
¿No? Yo empecé bien jovencita en la televisión.
A mí no me dicen eso, a ella sí.
Un placer, gracias a los dos.
Chao,
igualmente, saludos a todo el equipo de la Casa Blanca. Gracias, Audrey. Bendiciones.
Audrey López, directora de comunicaciones de la Casa Blanca, de comunicaciones de prensa en español. Gracias por estar con nosotros, Audrey. Vamos a subir el contenido completo de esta conversación. Si hay dudas, por favor, sobre todo porque lo he notado, Barbie, los hispanos, cuando vino el PPP, cuando vino el EIDL, el préstamo por desastre, muchos empresarios, yo lo digo siempre en el programa nacional de La Voz del Negocio Hispano, con la Cámara de Comercio y todo, se quedan sin pedir las ayudas porque tienen temor, porque dicen voy a dar información. No, este crédito es automático para todas las personas que hacen impuestos o taxes en los Estados Unidos. Me escribe una persona ahora mismo, te escribe que si no tienen hijos, por supuesto que no, se llama Child Tax Credit, crédito de impuestos por niño. No importa la cantidad de niños que tenga, las edades tienen que ser de 17 menos. Muchas gracias, Audrey, te queremos agradecer.
Y dice que se pudiera extender hasta el 2022, ya veremos. Bueno. Muchas gracias, Audrey.
Chao, chao a todos.
Felicidades.
Gracias por acompañarnos.
A ver.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm gonna wait for a few people to come on in this live. Good afternoon, people. How's everybody doing? I hope that you're well. I'm going to tell you right now, today's IG Live, we're talking to a special guest. We're going to be talking to Karine Jean-Pierre, and she is the White House Deputy Press Secretary. All right, now I know politically we all may stand on different sides of the aisle. We may believe different things, but that ain't what this is about. This is about informing you of two huge things coming down from the White House that I think you absolutely need to know about. Good afternoon. Look at all y'all. What's up, y'all? All right, so we're going to wait a while. Oh, the White House has requested to join. Look at that. We got the White House. It's joining. It's joining. Hey, what's up, y'all? Good afternoon.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Kim. Hi.
Hey. It's so wonderful to see your face. How are you doing?
It's so good to see you. Happy belated Father's Day. I hope
Thank
you had a
you.
great one.
Yes, I ate a lot of expensive food, and I'm not sorry for it.
Did you get a tie?
No tie this year.
No tie.
I specifically said that we're not doing struggle waffles. We ain't doing ties. We're doing a nice dinner for Dad, and my wife showed up, and I really appreciate it.
And I also see that you're a girl dad, which is super awesome as well. Boy dads are good, but girl dads are always are awesome too.
Girl dads, it requires like this mind shift that you never see coming, but it's the most beautiful thing of all time.
It is the most beautiful thing to see. It's so great to see girl dads. I love it. I love it.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad to have you on today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. I have some really important questions for you. I got to write down my questions because I'm long-winded. So if you see me look to the left,
It's all good. It's all good. This is all good stuff. It's all good stuff for the people who are watching, all your people who are tuning in. Hey, everybody. So I'm really excited to have this conversation.
So for sure. And I'm going to jump right into it.
Okay.
For those of you all that have just joined this live, we're being joined today by Karine Jean-Pierre. And she has some amazing, I'll let her introduce herself. She has some amazing information to share with you all. I have some questions for her. I'm sure y'all have some questions for her. So we're going to get right into it. Can you just give them a brief of who you are, what you do?
Absolutely. Yes, love to. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping on this afternoon, this weekday afternoon. My name is Karine Jean-Pierre. Kier said my name so perfectly, like I didn't really need to repeat it. So thank you for that. I am the Principal Deputy Press Secretary right here at the White House for President Biden. So excited to be joining you right here on the White House campus. And we're going to be talking about child tax credit. But I don't know if you want me to say more, Kier, or you want to get into questions, you let me know.
Let's get into it. So I'm not always the most politically savvy person on earth, so I need political understandings to be taught to me as you would teach a 5-year-old.
I'm happy to do that. Happy to. So let me step back for a second. Yes, we're going to talk about the child tax credit, but we're also talking about it today because today is Child Tax Credit Awareness Day, and we wanted to make sure that we're communicating with you and folks who follow you to let them know how critical and important the child tax credit is. As you might know already, a couple of months ago, the president signed into law the American Rescue Plan, which was an opportunity to really meet the moment, which is what the president did to deal with the economic crisis, to deal with the COVID pandemic. And so the child tax credit is an element of the American Rescue Plan. And what it does is it offers up relief to families, nearly all families in this country who are, dealing with so much, as you can imagine, Kier, who are trying to put food on the table, who are trying to figure out how they, what activities, summer activities are going to put their kids in, or even just to try to buy supplies to go back to school. So this child tax credit offers up some monthly payments for families who are making up to $150,000. Those are couples, and so they will get about $3,000. And for people who make $112,500 and less, they will get about $3,600. And so the way that it works, it's their monthly payments, and starting July 15th all the way through the calendar year. If you have a child that's 6 years and under, you'll get about $300. And if you have a kid that's six, each kid gets $300 for each kid. And if you have kids who are 6 to 17, that's $250 each kid. And so this is what we're talking about. The president believes in investing in families. He believes in investing in kids. He believes in investing our economic future, because one of the things that he says all the time, which is if our families are doing well, then our nation is doing well. So it's really critical and important. So thank you for this opportunity to have this conversation.
Oh, for sure. You answered a few of my questions. You answered about eligibility. And just to make sure I'm 100% clear, this rolls out starting next month and on
starting next month, July 15th, all the way through the calendar year. And most Americans are eligible. If you have filed for your 2019 or 2020 taxes, you will automatically get the funds that I was just talking about. But if you have not, because not everybody makes enough money, Kira, as you can imagine, to even file for taxes. So what we have done, and we've done this here, because this is a whole government approach, we have a website called childtaxcredit.gov. I'll give it for folks again, childtaxcredit.gov.
I'll pin it.
Yeah. So it'll give you all the information you need to enroll, so you can also get this much needed funding. So childcaretaxcredit.gov. It's
childtaxcredit.gov.
Yeah.
Got you.
Childtaxcredit.gov, right? I got to say it the right way too, so people don't start telling me, "Hey, you're saying it wrong."
No, it's cool. I had to
really
do it so I can write
important.
it down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super important.
Yeah.
So I know that I've done my research, and I know that one of the overall goals of this tax credit is to attack poverty. Can you speak to that a little bit? How exactly does that work?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because what the experts say that this child tax credit that we're seeing in the American Rescue Plan, which is a historic plan, as I would love to say, because I just want to remind people we've never done this before, at least this element in that plan. They say that experts say it's going to cut poverty by half. Child poverty by half, cut child poverty by half. So that is how fundamental this element of the plan is, the child tax credit is. And so, please, if you did not file for your taxes in 2019 and 2020, or just want to know information about how to get this done, how to enroll, or all the information you could possibly get from this, just go to childtaxcredit.gov.
And I know we have a few new people in here. If you could just really briefly just go over the numbers one more time, who qualifies?
Yep. Absolutely. So the way that it works is it's going to be a monthly amount that's going to start on July 15th, and it's going to go through the calendar year. And basically, if you have a child that is 6 years and under, you're going to get $300 a month. If you have a kid that is between 6 years to 17, you get $250 a month, and it is per child. So that's the other thing to remember. And it's for couples who are making $150,000 up to $150,000. Couples can get it. And if you're the head of a household making $112,500, that's how kind of the breakdown works with the amounts. So let me just restate that again. So if you make $150,000 up to $150,000 per couple, you're going to get $3,000. If you make $112,500 and you're the single household person, you'll get $3,600. And those payments will start July 15th monthly. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I don't want to confuse folks.
No, you made it clear. And after the year we've had, I know folks need as much help as they can get economically. Yeah. So that's going to be really beneficial to a lot of families. Exactly. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about another initiative that you all are rolling out, the American Family Plan.
Yes.
Can you explain that to me?
So in the American Families Plan, this child tax credit is also in the American Families Plan. And what the president wants to do is that he wants to make sure that it continues over 5 years, because this is so important. And like I said, it cuts child poverty by 50%. So this is something that's in the American Families Plan. And like I said, he wants to invest in families. He wants to invest in people. And that's why we have that American Families Plan as well. So we're going to work closely with Congress, and we're going to work really hard. The president's going to work really hard. His administration is going to work really hard to make sure that we pass the American Families Plan.
Now, I know that everything comes from somewhere, nothing comes from nowhere. That might be a double negative, but either way, everything comes from something. There's always a larger impact. Could you speak to the ripple effect of the American Family Plan and what this means for Americans overall?
I mean, look, and you've already said this so well, Kira, which is, after what we've seen in this past year and what families have had to go through with the pandemic, with the economy, and we really need to get people back on their feet. That's what the president believes. And he wants to invest in families. He believes if families are doing well, then we're doing well as a nation. So this is what this is all about. And cutting child poverty, what more important thing that you can really try to go for than trying to make sure that we cut child poverty by half. So this is the key here. We want to make sure that families are taken care of, that they're able to put food on the table, that they're able to buy supplies for their kids, they're able to maybe even put their kid in some sort of summer activity. Like, this is real issues for many families. And if you look this past year, we lost about 2.5 million women left the job market, the workforce. And so these are things like the child tax credit that's going to help families in great need right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And when we think poverty, we always think monetary. We don't often think of resources and not having access to those resources. And that's really important.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kira. I'm glad you said that. That's so true.
All right, I'm going to switch gears one last time.
Oh no.
Because I did a lot of research on you, and I find you mad interesting, all right?
Oh,
so I have two questions that are personal.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. I'm always answering personal questions. Go for it. My life is an open book, Kira.
I love that. I love that about you. I love it. All right, so you are the first Black woman to ever hold your position.
Yeah.
What was your first thought on your first day at the job?
So I am the first Black woman in about 30 years to have briefed. I briefed recently, which is standing behind the podium in the White House briefing room. If you all know Jen Psaki, we all love Jen Psaki. She's the White House press secretary. So when she's not able to brief, I do it. And so I was the first Black woman in, I think, 30 years, like I just said. And the first Black woman was Judy Smith, and she did that. She briefed back. She worked for George H.W. Bush, and so she was able to do that. But I am the first Black woman to do a press conference that was televised. And so, you know, when people ask me that question, and it's such a good question, it's an important question to ask. The way that I see it, and I said this at the briefing when I was asked this question, is, you know, this White House, the podium that we stand behind, the White House that we all have the honor of working in, it's not about us, right? It's about the American people. It's about making sure that we are communicating with them in an honest way, in a truthful way, making sure that, you know, we speak on behalf of the President of the United States, on behalf of President Biden. And so all of this conversation that we're having, that is the work that the President is doing on behalf of the American people. So it's an honor. It's an honor to have this job. I love my job. I love being able to do this with folks like you, Kier. It's such an important, I think, an important platform to have, right, in communicating in the most honest way that you can. But the last thing I would say is that, you know, I was behind the podium because the president believes that representation matters. And without representation, you know, what do we have really? We need more voices at the table. We need to see people, more of ourselves at all levels. And he understands that. And we are working, myself and all my colleagues, we are working in the most diverse administration ever. And I think that says a lot about how we see this president sees running this country and how he sees this country, making sure that Americans are represented right here in the White House.
Yeah, and thank you for informing me about that. And it's beautiful to see you carrying the torch of representation.
Oh, thanks, Kira. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Appreciate it.
All right, one last question, then I'll let you
Okay. All right.
All right.
One last question. One last personal question. Let's go.
So you work in DC, and I know you lived a lot of life in New York, so disrespectful traffic is probably nothing new to you.
Oh my gosh. And I miss New York so much.
I love New York. I love going up there. But DC traffic it's disrespectful sometimes.
That's one way to say it. Yeah. It can be very
Your commute
disrespectful.
into work, what are you listening to?
Oh, so okay. So I'm pretty boring in the mornings when I think I'm pretty boring just in general, but in the mornings I'm actually listening to podcasts because because we're in the press shop, as you can imagine, Kiera, we have to have our fingers on the pulse of the news that's out there at like 24/7 practically. So I'm listening to, whatever podcast that has, news that I really want to dig into it, whether it's domestic or foreign policy. And so that's actually what I'm doing. And the funny thing is when I'm not driving into work and I have my kid in the car, we're usually listening to a musical or Disney Channel.
Oh, same.
So, Mr. Girl Dad, you can understand what that's like. And,
Absolutely.
I have a funny thing for you. So my daughter just turned 7. She's really into like bad words. Like if somebody says, darn, that's a bad word. And so she's like, Mama, they're saying a bad word. So that's where we're at right now. So I can't listen, as you can imagine, I can't listen to too many things on
I understand.
too much
We're
music.
at 3 years old, my daughter's policing words, and she is very good at it. So we just listen to Moana all the time.
There we go, Moana.
Yep.
There you go. That's the
Yep.
way. Frozen, you name it. Yeah.
A lot of
some good
Frozen,
stuff.
1 and 2.
1 and 2, right. Got to do the mix, 1 and 2.
I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it was to have you here. My wife is Haitian, so I've been indoctrinated into the culture. Yeah, all my Sasquatch, my Peeklees, my Bun.
Okay,
I'm
that's
on
great.
to all of it.
Oh, that's nice. Tell her I said hello.
I will. And thank you so much for joining us on this IG Live.
Absolutely.
This is Corinne Jean-Pierre. You all just received some information about not only the American Families Plan, but the Child Tax Credit. Please make sure you go to childtaxcredit.gov to get more information, see if you qualify, and get the assistance that I know a lot of Americans desperately need right now. Corinne, it was an absolute pleasure. And
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Kira. Thank you for letting us use your platform.
Anytime.
Everybody.
Anytime. Bye, y'all. Catch y'all later.
I sure am. What's up, family? Nobody's in here yet. What's up? What's up? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, guys. So, if you don't know, we will be going live with the White House in a few minutes. So, please stick around so that we can have a very good conversation.
Let me see. So right now we're just waiting. Oh, thank you. Hopefully everybody, thank you for all wishing us a happy Father's Day.
Yes, we absolutely appreciate it. As I told you guys, we take fatherhood very seriously. So,
Not can I be your child?
But I think that's crazy. Are you excited to talk to the White House?
I'm excited to get some insight for you guys because it's Child Tax Credit Awareness Day. So y'all interviewing presidents and such now. No, we didn't say that. Okay, so I think that they might be in. Let's see.
There we go. All right, so we are bringing them on.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good.
I'm doing great. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so excited for you guys. Was it fun? Was not your first? Was it
No.
your first Father's Day? No. Okay.
It was relaxing.
It was okay. Okay. Good. Well, good to see you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming on and being able to talk with us and being able to educate a lot of people about what's going on with the child tax credit.
Yes. Well, also happy Child Tax Credit Awareness Day. That is what the White House is calling this, because it's so important and critical for families to know that this exists, that this is out there. As you all know, a couple months ago, the president signed into law the American Rescue Plan, which was a stimulus package, if you will, a plan that really met the moment and tried to deal with or dealt with the COVID crisis and the economic crisis. And within that plan, you had the child tax credit. And so that goes into effect on July 15th through the end of the calendar year. And so what it will do is it will help families, couples who make up to $150,000, and single households who make up to $112,500. And so the way that it works is that if you have a child that's 6 years and younger, you'll be getting $3,600 back in taxes. So in tax, that would be the tax credit, I should say. And if you have a kid that's from 6 to 17, it's $3,000, and it's per child. And so what's important about that is that this is an opportunity to give help to the most critical families. You know, people have been through this past year, whether it's putting food on the table, whether it's trying to figure out what are you going to do with your child during the summer, or going into the new school year. And so this is what the president wanted to do. He believes in investing in children and investing in our families. And if you do those things, then we are in a better place as a nation.
For sure. I think, so you said, one thing that you said is per child. So I know one of the questions that we got, was, is there a limit, on children, kind of like a cutoff per child, those ranges?
No, there isn't. And now, mind you, this goes through the calendar year. So that's how long the child tax credit goes to. He has a plan called the American Families Plan, which he puts in the child tax credit is in the American Families Plan, and it's an additional 5 years. And so that is something that he believes that we need to do this multiple years. So this is just through the calendar year. But when we start on July 15th, it'll be the monthly payments will start then. And the most important thing, the reason why we're doing this awareness day, is a lot of people don't know about this. And if you filed for taxes back in 2019 and 2020, you are automatically enrolled, right? Which is like 80% of people. But a lot of folks don't make enough money for them, or earn enough money for them to even need to file taxes. So what we have done as well is we have created this website called childtaxcredit.gov. And so for folks who, even if you just want to know more information and you're already enrolled and just want to know more, just go to childtaxcredit.gov. But really, we also want to make sure people are enrolled and are aware of what we are offering, because it's critical. It's important, as you can imagine, and it's going to help a lot of families who are at need. And one other thing that experts have said that this does is that they believe that this is going to cut child poverty by 50%. So this is a much needed assistance for families out there.
For sure.
Absolutely. I feel like, the whole premise of this is really amazing for Americans to be able to utilize, right? Especially going through a pandemic, like you said. I think the question that a lot of people have is, with there being such a large credit being extended to many Americans, number one, is this something that people are going to have to pay back?
No, this is not. This is the way. Remember, this was part of a package, $1 trillion package, $2.9 trillion package that the president signed into law a couple months ago. So this is paid for. This is an element of that package to help families. So this is something, like I said, he wanted to make sure we were investing in our families. He wanted to make sure we were investing in our kids. And this is an element that comes out of that really critical, important plan. And so the next part of this is going to be the American Families Plan, which the president, it's not passed yet. We're still working through that. We're working with Congress. And in that American Families Plan, he offers up a way to pay for it so that we're not putting the burden we're not putting the burden on working people. So, you know, in order to extend this for a couple of years, he wanted to make sure that plan was also paid for. So, like I said, like, you know, people, the way that we see it is like people who are, you know, everyday families are not paying that burden. And also he wants to make sure that people are paying their fair share when it comes to taxes. That's a whole nother piece of the conversation, but this is something that the added years would be paid for, and we wouldn't see that burden on American families, just to answer your question directly.
We got a lot of comments about people wanting to opt out for that reason. So you're saying they should not opt out because it is something that they will not have to pay back. So
yes, they should not opt out. This is something that is truly, truly, truly meant to help American families. This came out of a package that's already, you know, that already was passed a couple of months ago, and so this is not something that people are going to be paying back for. This is something to help people. It's a tax credit, right? It's supposed to help people in this time of need. And like I said, he's included in the American Families Plan, and in that American Families Plan, he's offered up a way to pay for it. So we're not putting the burden on American families.
Okay. So I guess another question we received is, how is it different from stimulus payments that we got?
So the stimulus payment is something, this is added, this is additional, right? This is additional assistance for families, nearly all families. And so we're talking about 39 million households. We're talking about 65 million children. That's 90% of children across the country. So this is an added benefit. So the $1,400 check that folks got is not the same. That's something totally different for Americans who also needed that payment as we were dealing with an economic crisis. Now this, as I've said, experts has seen this funding. It's going to cut child poverty by 50%. So this is just as an added benefit to this. And also in that plan, I'm sure you guys remember, there was money in that plan to deal with COVID, right? To deal with vaccination strategy program, right? And now we're seeing this vaccination strategy program that the president put forth has been incredibly successful. Now if you've been fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask indoors or outdoors. You're able to go see your families, or be able to go to restaurants. So this was all part of that rescue plan that this child tax credit was part of.
In effort, and I want to make sure, because I can see a lot of comments here.
Yeah, I see them too.
are talking in an effort to create transparency, which I know is something that's really big from the president with citizens. If such a large package, where is this money coming from if not the taxes of working Americans?
So, I mean, that's a really good question. So I guess the question that I got before was, do we have to pay for this, this child tax credit? No, you don't, because it was already allotted, right? It was already allotted in this rescue plan. So that rescue plan was part of what Congress appropriates, right? Which is clearly taxes that they get, that the government gets. So that is all part of this, right? This is kind of all part of that rescue plan, but that's already gone, right? That's already allotted, and that's one way that the government uses your money, right? This is why it's so important to speak up and to be really involved, because that was a way that they used your money, and the way that they did that was to make sure that we were actually investing or meeting the moment, the crises that we were meeting, right? So that's one. But the American Families Plan is something that is going to be paid for. Well, we're hoping it's going to be paid for. That's what the president has put forth, is a plan to make sure that we pay for all of the items, all of the investments that we're making into families, into kids in this plan, so that we also, it's not just about, let me step back for a second. The American Families Plan is not just meeting the moment of a crisis, it's also investing long term. And so that's how the president sees this. He wants to make sure that we're investing long term into families, into our kids. And so that's what is in the American Families Plan, which he has put forth a way to pay for it. And so that we're not putting the burden on working families.
For sure.
Awesome.
So I know previously when we first started, you kind of explained the qualifications for it, and you said that most people, I guess, if they just file their taxes, it should be direct deposit. Really, for those others, they have to register, or will they just come to in? Is
So
that
so that's why we have the child tax credit .gov, so they can get information and make sure that they are getting enrolled. It's very important that you get enrolled, working closely with the IRS. This is something that the IRS is running. So in order to get that funding, you have to get enrolled so you can make sure that you're getting that tax credit. It's so critical and important, as you all know. And so that's the key there. But if you file for your taxes in 2019 and you file for your taxes in 2020, it will be automatic. You will start seeing those funding, that funding starting July 15th, and it's only through the end of the year. And so that's important too for people to know.
Okay. And then is there any specific routes that people that may do a divorce or in the process of divorce, like that they can take, or how work specifically with that?
Well, that's such a good question. I would say go to childtaxcredit.gov. And hopefully that'll answer any of those questions about getting divorced or in the process of divorce. I don't have that specific answer, but I would recommend going to childtaxcredit.gov.
Okay.
What's going on? I thought I was going to see one of your cute kids, your twins.
Yeah, they're sleeping. I was like, we wouldn't be able to take the meeting.
Oh, no.
I do have a funny question though, being that the big boom of like these new payment apps like Cash App and stuff like that in the world's utilizing. Is there any way possible that someone would be able to get their money direct deposited via Cash App?
Oh, wow. I'm not sure about that. My thinking is no. I think you either get a check or you get the automatic deposit in your bank account. But that's not I'm sure there's all types of regulations and things that they need to go through to make that one happen. But that's a good question. Hey, that makes it easy, right? It makes it easier for folks to get their money.
Right.
Yeah.
So similar to like we said, a lot of people were comparing this to stimulus, and so I think completely different.
This is not the $1,400 check, but it's part of that American Rescue Plan that was passed a couple months ago.
Right. So is it something that's gonna come lump sum, or is it spread over time?
So that's a really good question. I know some folks have those questions. So right now it is set to be monthly, but there is an opt-out option, so you can get that funding in a lump sum, but by the end of the year. So you just have to, again, go to childtaxcredit.gov, and the IRS has created an opt-out option where you can get that funding in just one lump sum. So that is available to folks.
Oh, okay. I did not.
Yeah.
And then I know we had a question about head of household. So a lot of people, again, I know you said it's going to be a child tax credit, but just for everyone, can you go through the qualifications again?
Yeah.
Specifically about someone with head of household, because I know
absolutely. I know it could be very confusing. So the head of so a couples, it's up to $150,000, right, for couples to get this child tax credit. And for households, just single household, head of household, or a single household, however you want to say that, it is $112,500, up to $112,500.
Okay. And then one of the final questions we have is for someone who has just had a baby, or someone currently pregnant now who is going to have a baby somewhere between now and the end of the year, is it that they qualify for as well?
That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure. I would go to the whitehouse.gov. That is an excellent question. Like if you've had a child within this calendar year where this is available, would you be available for this funding? I would assume so, because the child was born within the calendar year. But I would go to the the childtaxcredit.gov to get that answer,
Awesome.
to get that clarity, to get that clarified.
We certainly appreciate you being able to come on and to shed light on this tax and to be able to answer a lot of the questions that people are having. And I think that the more that have these conversations, the better we're able to create transparency between the citizens and the government. And I know that's something that I highly appreciate. So we appreciate the time that you spent with us today.
Absolutely, totally my pleasure. Thank you both for allowing us to use your platform, for allowing us to talk to the folks who follow you all. And so really appreciate the conversation. And everybody go to childtaxcredit.gov, get the information. It's really critical. The president believes in investing in all of you, investing in our future, investing in our families and kids. And so this is a way that we're hopefully to help folks who really need it right now.
Awesome. And we'll save this so that they can go back and reference it if they have any questions as well. But again, and we'll put it in there, childtaxcredit.gov. But we really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. All right. Bye. Thank you both.
Hi guys. All right, so today is a very exciting day. I still don't even know how this is happening, to be quite honest, but I am going to be having a conversation with White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and basically it's your two favorite Jens together. She's going to be joining me any second. I just wanted to let you guys know what we're going to be talking about so that you don't miss anything. We are going to be talking about the American Families Plan. I'll explain a little bit more about what that is, but specifically today, it is Child Tax Credit Awareness Day. So we are going to be talking to you guys about, I almost just went live with the wrong person. Hold on one second. Here we go, IG Live. This is wild. Okay. I think this is working.
Hi.
I can't believe this.
My other favorite Jen.
I just said
my favorite Jen.
This is like hairstylist Jen and then White House Press Secretary.
I was nervous about my hair. I was like, oh man, it's very humid here. So I'm working on it.
It's moving day and I just like put my baby upstairs. The dogs are outside. We like have no noise interrupting us and I'm so excited to talk to you today. My hair.
If a baby interrupts, that's very on point for our discussion.
Very on point. I'm telling everybody, first of all, this is a huge honor to be able to talk to you, and I love that you do this. I've watched so many of the different conversations you've had with people that I follow, and it's just so awesome that you take the time to do this, so thank you.
Well, thank you, and let me thank you for doing this. I mean, you could talk about so many different things, and talking about the child tax credit and child tax credit awareness, it's a huge service to all the people who watch you and follow you, and so important to so many people around the country. So thank you for elevating this issue too.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. Let's do this every week.
Let's do it. I'm gonna mark it down.
I want to just kind of break down to everybody. We're talking about the American Families Plan, and more specifically because today is Child Tax Credit Awareness Day. And so briefly for everybody that's watching, that is basically a major tax relief for nearly all working families, and it's expected to help cut child poverty in half, which is huge. In fact, roughly 39 million households covering 65 million children are eligible for the credit. So Jen, my first question for you is, who is eligible for the CTC?
Well, the good news is, as you said, a huge number of Americans are eligible for this around the country, tens of millions of Americans. And the even better news is that there's not a lot anyone really needs to do because if you paid your taxes and you're in the system, people will start getting this benefit starting on July 15th. A couple $100s a month. We're doing it in monthly payments, although you can opt out of that if you don't want to do it monthly and you want one lump sum, that's okay too. So people start getting the benefit. One of the things we want to also make sure people are aware of is if you don't make enough money to pay taxes, you may also still be eligible. And so we are launching a site, childtaxcredit.gov. People can go there, find out if they're eligible, get more information. We want everybody who's eligible to benefit because, as you said, this can help cut child poverty in half this year. It can help get working moms a little extra benefit, help put food on the table, and we're just excited about it, but want everybody to know about it and benefit if they're eligible.
Thank God for this plan. I feel like everyone is hurting so much, and especially now, like all of the relief is needed, and I'm just so happy to hear that. Tell me the website again. It was Child Tax Credit.
childtaxcredit.gov. And it is a place where people can find out if they're eligible. Now, if people just want to know now, which I realize is why you were asking, if you're a family and you're making up to $150,000 a year, anyone under that amount is going to be eligible. If you're a head of households, you're a rock star single parent, and you're making $112,000 a year or less, you're going to be eligible. And there's a range. It depends on how many kids you have as well, but it can get you all the details, make it specific to your family. So childtaxcredit.gov has all the information anyone needs.
Oh my God, amazing. Okay, so for people who aren't familiar with the American Families Plan, it's an amazing proposal that will provide so many benefits to families, including at least 4 years, right, of free education?
That's exactly right. Yep.
It's going to extend tax cuts to families like the child tax credit and provide direct support to children and families to help them pay for childcare, which I could cry about. I'm so happy. How can we do our part, Jen, to help Congress pass this proposal and make sure that it becomes a law?
Well, you're already doing your part. So, but to people who are out there who follow you and are so interested in helping here, I think the important thing is tell your friends, tell your neighbors how important it is to get this passed into law. There's nothing more effective than getting the people you know. Sure, people can go out and they can call their members of Congress and they may choose to do that. That's fine. But the most effective thing is creating a grassroots movement just in your local neighborhood, among your friends and family, and tell them about the benefits and how people can benefit. And the education piece is, I'm so excited about that piece. You know, there's a lot of reasons we all work in government around here, but this proposal is one of the ones I'm so excited about because it has funding to help ensure that community college is free for people around the country. That is going to help so many people who don't think college is an option for them. It also ensures that 3- and 4-year-olds around the country can get access to universal pre-K. And that's so important because all the statistics show that if kids go to pre-K, to preschool, as opposed to even daycare, they're much more likely to graduate from high school. And it really gives kids an extra leg up, and then they should get that. So it's really exciting, but go tell your friends and neighbors, your friends on Facebook, your Instagram followers, Twitter, whatever means you have to communicate about it.
Dance, guys.
TikTok. Sorry, I didn't think yep.
Talking about this. Let's get it going back. Sure. And I can't say enough like how important social media is, and we have the tool there, you guys, just to like make a graphic, put it up, and spread the word. Okay, I want to go into something a little personal because I'm just such a fangirl of you and everything.
I'm so excited to be here. I feel like we're like becoming friends on the internet. I love it.
Truly, I'm gonna like find you when next time I'm in your city. So you're obviously an incredible, successful woman who wears many hats. You have, is it 2 or 3 kids?
I have 2.
2. And boy,
yes.
You have a girl and a boy?
I have a girl and a boy, yes. And you have, how many kids do you have?
I have 1 boy and he's 3.5 months. So I have to say a shout out to every parent out there, the single parents, the working parents. Like, I have so much respect for all parents, really. It is such a amazing, huge sacrifice and an amazing journey. But I want to ask you what advice you would give to young women who are maybe having a hard time figuring out their purpose or kind of how to achieve it.
Oh, and you have I want to throw this question back to you because you've done so much writing and thinking and advising people about exactly this question. Let me first say that I'm 42 years old and I'm so lucky to be where I am, but I have never had a complicated 20-year life plan. I've always thought about approaching things. My mother still says, bite the elephant one bite at a time. Just take one step in front of the other and figure out, you pursue your purpose by figuring out what drives you, what you're excited about, think about it less as what the specific job title is than what moves you as a human being. What makes you excited to get out of bed? That's the big, broad advice. I would say on the smaller day-to-day advice, or as you're thinking about the next step, I always think about people, how I can continue to evolve as a person. How can I learn more? Who's going to teach me more? Who can I work for to help me learn more? And pushing myself. We're all always evolving, or we should be, right? You should always be trying to learn more and become a better person and a better part of the, whatever industry you're in. So when I think about, pursuing my purpose, I always think about how I stretch myself and how I can learn more and become better at what I do. And sometimes that's about who you work directly for, and what skill you're learning or how you're pushing yourself to grow more.
Yeah, I'd say I totally agree with you. My advice is, I think, just don't let the internet rush you. I think that we live in a time when you're seeing what other people have, you're maybe feeling like, you're stuck in a rut, or you're feeling like you aren't accomplished enough. And I think, I was like a 28-year-old hair assistant, which is very old in the LA world. But I loved learning and I never wanted to stop. And I think that, and also, I hate to scare anybody out there, but like, as you get older, as women, we take on more jobs. You just do. And you learn to adapt and you take on more jobs, and I think, and more roles in your life. So I think just being really honest about the journey with your friends so that people don't feel alone, like new motherhood and that whole journey. And don't be afraid to be selfish. It's okay to be selfish. That's my other advice.
That's such good advice. I'm taking your advice. I'm writing it down on my note card here. That's such good advice. I mean, you're totally right, especially for people who choose to have kids or have kids. You take on different roles and you can be selfish and should be selfish about what that looks like and what's going to work for you. I mean, I remember when I had my daughter, she's almost 6. It was also the first time I really realized for myself, I'd been kind of chugging along professionally, that I liked working, and I liked that expansion of kind of my mind and my soul and learning more. And that's okay too, not to feel guilty about that. That's easy for me to say, but that's something I've learned along the way as well. And really to surround yourself, you've made me, surround yourself with people who are going to push you, but be a part of positivity in your journey in a good way. That's an important thing. It's not always possible, but people hopefully have choices about who they work for, who they work with, who they hire. And that's an important part of your day-to-day growth and journey professionally too.
Totally. Yeah. I love that we got to have this time to talk together.
Me too.
Next time you're in LA, I'm cutting your hair.
Oh my God. I'm like holding you to this. And next time you're here, you need to come visit. And I will not cut your hair because that would be a travesty. But I would love to show you around the White House.
I can be maybe the press secretary for the day. We could just swap roles.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much, honestly, for all you do and what you stand for. You're so incredible. I love watching you. I'm always on YouTube watching all of your press conferences. You're amazing. So,
thank you so much, and thanks for elevating this issue and for everything you do to talk about all these important issues too.
And before we go, where can people go to read more about the CTC?
They can go to childtaxcredit.gov. They can also go, if they're just interested in our policies, they can go to whitehouse.gov, see all the proposals we've put out there to hopefully make people's lives better and make government work for them.
Jen Psaki, you are a legend. Thank you for doing this. And I hope
Thank you. Great chatting with you.
So much. Bye, guys. Thank you. Okay.
Am I live? I think I am. Hey guys. So, how's everyone doing? I haven't been live in I can't even tell you how long. My baby hairs from my pregnancy are growing in. But today I'm super excited. I'm going to be going live with the White House, but before I do, I'm going to bring on Matt into this. Hopefully he is ready too. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Quest. But yeah. Oh. Is there any feedback? Guys, do you have any weird stuff on?
Yeah.
Because we're not from each other. Yeah, maybe. Wait, can you go there?
Sure. How are you? Hey guys. I guess I'll go on the living room. Can you still hear feedback?
Whoa, what just happened to my face? I'm trying to find a filter on my face right now. What are these? I do a little bit. I kind of still do.
I guess I'm going outside.
So today is Tax Awareness Day, which is why we're going live with the White House while Matt gets situated. I'm just waiting for him because it's like frozen now. Okay, you're good there. You're perfect.
Love it.
Nice view.
What's going on, everybody?
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Sorry that took us so long to figure
Matt,
out.
wanna introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? I'm Matthew. I am the baby daddy, as Anana says. No, we're one big happy family. We're excited to be going live with the White House today.
Yeah, our little one's taking a nap right now with the grandma, so I am going to now invite on the White House, and we're going to have Jen Psaki in, the press secretary, and we're going to ask some questions about the child tax credit. 1 second. Send request. He's breaking up still.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
How are you guys? My son's name is Matthew, so I
love it already.
Super excited. It's a great name.
Great name. My mom. How are you today?
Great. How are you guys? Thanks so much for doing this and for talking about such an important issue.
Of course. Thank you for having us. I'm super excited. I've never got to go live with the White House. I feel really, really excited about this. But yeah, we'll just get started. I know you're a busy woman. And yeah, if you want to just give us a little, rundown about the new tax credit, child tax credit that you guys are working on. I think it's amazing, and it's going to do great things for American families.
Sure. Well, first, the good news is we already passed this into law. There's more child tax credits to come, but this one, people across the country, 39 million households, will start benefiting starting on July 15th. And it's thousands of dollars that should go into the hands of working parents across the country. They're going to get it automatically, as I mentioned. Every month they're going to get a payment, which is great news. Now, what we also want to make sure people know is if they're not sure if they're eligible, they can go to childtaxcredit.gov. Even if they haven't filed their taxes, maybe they didn't make enough money last year, understandable during a pandemic, they may be eligible still. So they can go there and find out and hopefully benefit as well.
Gotcha. I know one of the questions I had was, is the eligibility renewal every year based off of the income that you got on the previous year? Is that how that...
Yeah, that's a great question. So it is, this benefit is through this year, which just passed in the American Rescue Plan, which passed into law a few months ago. And right now the eligibility is if for families making less than $150,000 a year, they will be eligible. It depends on how many kids they have. It depends on where they are in that income bracket, which is why they can go to the website. Or for single parent households, heroes, right? If they're making up to $112,000, they will be eligible. It's based on their 2020 filing. But what we've also proposed is extending it by 5 years. That hasn't passed yet. We're trying to get it passed. And it's typically based on the prior year's tax filing on whether people will be eligible.
Okay. So that's amazing.
So when can people file? I know you've started one cycle now. You said July, beginning of July. So when is the next one? Can they make that deadline? Can they still file right now if they want to?
Absolutely. First of all, if people file their 2020 taxes, they're already going to get the benefit. There's nothing they really need to do. If the IRS has their information because of that, they'll start getting these checks automatically starting July 15th. Which is great, right? Nothing you need to do, just an added a couple $100 that you can use to, put food on the table, pay for childcare, whatever it may be. For people who are not, go ahead.
So anyone who has already done their taxes doesn't even have to worry about this. They can just know that the government is going to take care of it, and they're going to be sending that tax credit to the families.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. For their 2020, exactly, for last year, if they've already filed. Now,
Right.
there are people who may not have filed, they may not know if they're eligible. They can go to the website, get information, make sure they know how to get the benefit if they're not sure. So we want to make sure anybody who might fall into that income back bracket, who might be eligible, which is 90% of families with kids around the country, gets these benefits.
Right. Definitely gets taken care of. I know growing up in Pittsburgh, I definitely came from humble beginnings, and my family did not come into the higher tax brackets when it came to income. And, you know, they worked very hard, and my dad had a landscaping company, and I know this would have been something that they would have definitely benefited from. Anana being Canadian, there is something, I believe, in Canada where families do get, subsidies of up to $3,000 and things like that. So I think it's very important for families to understand the opportunity that they have and not to just kind of ignore it, because it could just pass by and then they couldn't get the help. So I think this is something super important for people to spread the word about and honestly tell their families and friends and all their loved ones about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And great. Thank you for that too. Go ahead. Anna.
Is just another question. Is there different amounts that will be offered according to the age of their children, or it's like if they have one child that's 7 and another one that's 13, like is there different amounts that are offered for those families?
Yes, and that's such a good question. And this is part of why it's helpful to go to the website, childtaxcredit.gov, and kind of get that specific information. So for families who have kids who are under 6 years old, I sometimes reverse this, so I'm cheating a little bit here, and I hope that's okay. For families who have kids who are under 6 years old, it's a little bit more money. It's $3,600. And for families who have kids who are over that age, it's still $3,000. So it's a huge benefit regardless. It's a little bit more for kids who are under, but families have a combination of ages, right? And so in order to know how they will benefit and what it will look like and how they can plan around it, that's why we want to make sure people go to the website and get the information they need.
Right. Another question I had was, is there certain regulations, I did a little bit of research on it, are there certain regulations on how the money can be spent and what it can be used for or anything like that, or is it just like it goes to the family home and they choose what they, are dispersing it towards?
Yeah, it does. It does exactly that. Now, families will use it, as you said, in lots of different ways, and families have different needs, right? I mean, what we've seen is that across the country, what the projection is that this will reduce child poverty by about a half. So some families will use it to put food on the table, but some families will use it to pay for childcare or extra needs they have, and that's okay. Every family knows what they need, and this is just a little extra assistance for people who are trying to make ends meet.
100%. I think us being new parents, we've definitely we've noticed.
Or especially because I can't imagine being a single mom and trying to work a full-time job and balancing all that is just. I have so much respect for women that are doing that, so I think this is a great opportunity for them. But like you said, like growing up in a household, both my parents are immigrants and they had to work two jobs, and it was just having to not, especially after COVID and everything that everyone went through. I feel like this is definitely going to help a lot of American families. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But we've seen so much with Nova. She's over these past 9 months, and having grandmas involved to help us out with things.
And 2 grandmas in and out, his sister.
Yeah, so
believe me.
And I can only imagine. I mean, we have, our bills to pay like everybody else does, and the pandemic happening slowed our work down, and then having a child on top of that increased our bills and things like that. So we definitely were lucky and very grateful to have family members that helped out. But for those that don't have that type of situation, I think this is definitely going to be like a huge help in aiding for either night nurses or daycare centers, just anything that can help them, provide for their families more.
Yeah, exactly. And people know what their family's needs are, you know, and what's going to help them. And it sometimes is individualized. But, you know, when we started the pandemic, or I should say earlier this year, 1 in 7 American families didn't have enough money to put food on the table, you know. And so that's a very basic right and need that people have. I'm lucky like you guys are. I have amazing involved grandmas and, you know, babysitters and everything, but we're all really fortunate, and everybody doesn't have all of that, that they have resources for us. So hopefully this will help a lot of people across the country. And also, you know, more than 1 million women have left the workforce, and women are still, I have a very equal partner. I'm sure you guys are too, but you know, women are still the primary caregivers for kids and for family members and you know, parents who are adults who need extra care. And this will hopefully get them a little extra assistance so they can rejoin the workforce if they want to too.
100%. I completely agree. And I encourage all the dads out there to be Mr. Mom, because
yeah, exactly. Mr. Mom is key.
I roll on as a parent and helping out my significant other in any way that I possibly can.
Yeah, we've been a great balance, and I can never be happy. Of course. Well, thank you so much for that,
guys. And congratulations to you guys. Not easy, even if you have lots of help. But having a baby is hard and challenging, and the best thing on the planet, but also hard. So congrats to you guys too.
Sleep part is probably the biggest thing. But
sleep, oh yeah, the sleep part is real. It's real. How did your baby sleep?
She still doesn't sleep at night.
Yeah, it's a little dark. Yeah. I had my second son. My son was like that. It's hard. It gets better, but the sleep is real.
And like teething started to happen, and teething really took a toll. And now she's just like, you know, if I want to sleep tonight, I will, and if I don't, I'm gonna give you hell. So
yeah. Hang in there. It gets better. They'll eventually sleep.
we take night shifts. One night's Matt's time, one night's my time, one night's my mom's time. So we have the balance for sure.
Yeah, God, you'll get through it. But right now, I know I've been there. It's not easy.
But we want to much for taking this. I know it's going to help a lot of my family members and my immediate family back home that are in the lower income families, and I feel like this is a really great thing that people should know more about. So we're going to continue to spread the word, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Well, thank you both. Thanks for elevating this issue, for everything you do to talk about so many important issues. We really appreciate it from our end too.
100%.